My name is Sammy. I'm not as gifted as Brother Adam, so he asked if we made anything for Brother Marwan. I made something. I made this painting. I was going to Brother Marwan, and he said he wants to keep it at the center. So you'll see it here, inshallah. He's not going to take it with him. I don't know if he can fit it in the luggage.
Can you at least take a picture with it? Yeah. Come on. Bismillah. Can you move forward, brother, this way? There you go. Yalla.
I like Medina.
Adam, can you go back, Habibi?
Maybe if we turn the light on it.
Okay, Adam. Next up is Adam. He's got something special up his sleeve. I don't know. We'll see.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
So first off, Jazakumullah khairan for coming out here in support of Ammu Marwan. It's the least he deserves. So I have here a little poem in tribute to him and his family. It's just English. Yeah, I know. Bummer. Anyway, let me take you back to a certain day. A day where I stayed in BHA. I was the new kid on the block. Who'd ever guess that that day would be a life changer? If you guessed yes, then it definitely was. I met someone who introduced himself to me and then some. And at the time, I could not see that a very special someone was standing in front of me. I saw him as a leader, for everyone around raised their heads whenever he walked into town, with a good sense of humor to boot, and the dude actually gave a hoot about everyone around, elderly, children, especially youth. When he spoke the truth, though his jokes might just make you keel over, and he would never leave a witty remark left over. But above all, was someone who cared about Allah and his deen, who showed kindness and character like I had never seen, and he loved those around him, even me, and we had just recently met. How could that be? Marwan Maruf is his name. Youth, activism, spirituality are his game. He's the man, like we all know, and he'll always be, wherever he goes. In the recent years, I learned a few more things, in particular, about Ammu Marwan's offspring. So I have to take the time to give a shout to some young fellows, alhamdulillah, me, you, Ammu Marwan couldn't do without. Muhammad, he's the oldest, obviously tall. He'd surprise you the things he can do with a sports ball. Soccer, basketball, football, you name it. If he went up against a beast, he'd tame it. He's got a good head on those athletic shoulders. With the right material, you'll be moving boulders. Medic, not the most orthodox one, though hanging around him is a lot of fun. His random, spastic, unpredictable ways were the highlight of many memorable, chaotic days. So, dude, don't be scared to say what you feel. But for the record, I'm not Adam's cousin, I'm the real deal. Abdurrahman is the third other, and honestly, I think he should be my little brother. Anytime I feel like the snackies, I always remember Hamani and his tackies. That's the name of the snack. So, like you've shown me, show others too about how totally awesome it is to be you. And of course, behind every good man is an even better wife, courtesy of Khattu Hanan. She's not here, but shout out to moms, wives. There's technically a fourth, so out of respect, it is to Ibrahim Maruf, your attention I direct, who, I'm sure, has an amazing future yet to unfoil. But dude, could you be just a little bit less spoiled? So, it's a farewell party, but don't call me a loon when I say I think you guys, inshallah, will be back very soon. Way sooner than those Oklahoma football fans. But whatever happens in that time span, to us, you're always here, you're never gone, our dear, blessed, beloved Ammu Marwan.
Takbir. Adam, did you make that? Jazakallah khair. Well done. Great speech, Brother Adam. طيب, next we have Brother Marwan Maruf. تفضل.
خطبة الوداع. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله that I lived to see the day that we finally have a podium at the youth center. Alhamdulillah, we're growing. Good things are happening as soon as I decided to leave. I have some dollars to give out. I hope that someone continue this sunnah inshallah at the center when we leave, just for a few months inshallah. We'll be back. I'll be back. Inshallah. Can we turn this off? Jazakallah khairan, the pictures. Just because none of them has my wife in them. And no, Jazakallah khairan. Whoever put this slide piece together, Jazakallah khairan, beautiful. You can use Facebook very well. This is all from Facebook. But I noticed that my wife is not there. My wife has always been there. And if it wasn't for my wife and her patience, and many times she gave up on me and the kids basically, but Jazakallah khairan, she's not here, she's not feeling well, she has the flu, the whole family has the flu, so we decided to move a week from, not this weekend, next weekend inshallah, because of the sickness. So we'll be around inshallah for another week.
Are we doing another
and this is beautiful. There's two ways of looking at things, right? So either you're so happy that we're leaving, and you have or but inshallah we'll be around for another week. And inshallah, if you'd like to take more pictures with me, autographs, inshallah, I'll be available for another week. So let me start by saying the right thing. رب اجعلني خيرا مما يظنون واغفر لي ما لا يعلمون ولا تؤاخذني بما يقولون. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make me better than what you think and to forgive all that you don't know about me. And there's a lot that you don't know about me. And I also start with giving out $1. I'm going to say a dua that Ammu Tahir actually recited in the second rak'ah today. So for $1, he was talking about Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam in his second rak'ah. So for $1, can anyone remember? Ya Khaltu Muammar, give a chance for the new generation. Khalas. Is Radwa in the house?
That's all I knew.
So I'm going to take my sweet time since, it's my night, so I'm going to take my time. I would like to, this may sound painful for the family, but Brother Sayyid Abu Umar rahimahullah was one of the founders of Mass in Dallas. And the trip where he became a shaheed, he was actually the chairman of Mass Dallas. And he had handed over the responsibility before he left. I have that one last email when he said, we have this going on, please take care of business, and then he left. So, Jazakallahu khairan for everything he has done. And this is Brother Sayyid Abdullah, Abu Umar and Shayba, and Radwa and Muhammad and Usama, and the husband of Sister Umar. طيب, so what I wanted to start by saying is رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. And also, before I start sharing with you the few thoughts that I have prepared, because a lot of thoughts, inshallah, this is temporary, inshallah. We're going on a vacation for a year or two and then we'll come back. But before I start the few thoughts, I thought I would welcome some people. And this is what we're about in Mass, being your extended family. So I'm going to welcome few people, and I'm sure I'm going to miss some, but I just would like to welcome some people. For example, I would like to welcome Brother Taysir Zahra, the brother of Brother Nabil, who is visiting from California. If we convince him and show him, great welcome and warmth, maybe they'll move here, inshallah. So we welcome him along with his family. Hayyakumullah, ahlan wa sahlan. I would also like to welcome, although it makes me feel very old, is Malak here, still here? Malak Hazim Al-Ashi? I think she left. Malak, the daughter of Hazim Al-Ashi, who's now in Lebanon. Malak, the last time I saw her, she was 6 years old. Now she walks in the door with a baby in her hand. Right, just like Radwa came up to take the dollar. Radwa that I know was... So this makes me feel older. But I wanted to welcome her, but I think they left with Brother Ihsan. The other thing is, I wanted to thank Sami. By the way, Sami's name is Sami Yusuf.
No singing.
So that's him. Can he get his autograph, inshallah, after we're done. But Jazakallah khairan for the painting. He was working on it for several months actually now. So Jazakallah khairan. May Allah Azza wa Jal put more barakah in your time. I would like also to welcome Sister Noor Saada, Sister Noor in the house, who decided to leave us to Jordan, but she's coming back because obviously there is something in the air that brings people back. So welcome back. Inshallah, hopefully you'll decide to stay and enrich the community. Sister Noor had done many talks, and especially in the interfaith and with the youth and so on. So just thought I would welcome everyone. Anything else I missed? So now, let me just share with you, inshallah, what I had in mind. This is like a barrier between you and me. Abu Ammar, Jazakallahu khairan. SubhanAllah, as they say, very humbly, great minds think alike, صح? So I was going to share with you a story about Isa alayhi salam as a beginning, and I hope you enjoy it. I shared it with the people in Plano, so Umar, please don't spoil it. Don't tell them the stories. And the same for Noor and Sanah, don't say anything, okay? So this is about Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. So let me start by giving a few dollars. Alright, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam had a lot of miracles. Allah had supported him with a lot of miracles. Okay? So we're going to start with the ladies' side. Yeah, young ones. Any of the miracles of Isa alayhi salam? With a show of hands. Show you. Yes? Yes. He can bring people back to life. Dead people back alive. Bi-idhnillah. Alright, brothers, the young ones. Come up, come up. Other miracles of Isa alayhi salam. Alright, ladies in the back. Can hear you. He could heal the sick. Bi-idhnillah, by the permission of Allah. Here's your dollar, Faiz. Other miracles. Brothers, mashallah, they know it all. Yes. He spoke when he was a baby, and Amr just gave it to you. What else? Right, so here's the story. Very quick, inshallah. So Isa alayhi salam, and this is one other person that makes me feel old. Say mashallah la quwwata illa billah. So So Anisa is the daughter of Ayman and Wafa, and I know Ayman. I cannot claim that I know Ayman since he was in diapers, but no. I've known him forever. Ayman, Abdul Rahman, Mustafa, and Noor. And now Anisa. And now she's walking actually. So and see if she can walk fast. Again, mashallah, la quwwata illa billah. So the story about Isa alayhi salam, did I give you the dollar? The story of Isa alayhi salam, and I think it relates to the event, to the occasion. So one day, this person came and he said, I want to be your companion, Isa alayhi salam. I want to learn from you. So, so he walks with Isa alayhi salam. Now Sayyidina Isa had a loaf of bread, a piece of bread. The man had two loaves of bread. So they put them in a bag. They put them in a bag. So how many do we have now? You get $1. It's me. So they had 3 loaves of bread. One of the things that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam loved and enjoyed to do is al-khulwa. He liked to stay by himself and pray. Like, I know one person in the room, I will not name him, to him. When it's time for Taraweeh in Ramadan, he would rather go do Taraweeh at home, by himself, so that he can enjoy the Quran and take his time in sujood and so on. So Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he enjoyed al-khulwa. He liked to be by himself. So he stepped aside and he was praying. So this man that was his friend, he ate one of the loaves of the bread. So how many pieces now are left in the bag? 2. Here you go. Alright, so now we have 2 pieces. يلا عم طاهر. You're gonna miss me, wallahi. So, okay. So as they start walking, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he says, we're hungry, let's have some food. So he brings the bag, and then they look in the bag and there's only 2 pieces of bread. So Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he says, where did the 3rd one go? So are you guys with me? Yes. So the man says, Ya Rasulullah, there were only 2 pieces. He's already lying. And lying about what? A piece of bread. It's not worth it. But he thought, why embarrass myself? There are only 2 pieces. So Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam did not argue. One of the traits of Sayyidina Isa is that he did not argue. He stayed focused. So as they start walking, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam actually sees a river and he walks on it. You know how the Christians believe that Sayyidina Isa can walk or walked on water? So in this narration of this story, he walks on water. So then he looks back at this person and he says, As'aluka billadhi, in English, I ask you by the one that made me able to walk on the water. Were they 2 loaves of bread or 3? So he said, there were 2. Still lying. Lie calls for another lie. And then to cover the second lie, there is usually a 3rd lie, and so on. So he said, no, there were 2. He said, fine. So they walk. Then Isa alayhi salam, he sees a blind person. So he wipes over his eyes, and bi'idhnillah, this blind person now can see. So he looked at the man, at the liar. He says, I ask you by the one that gave me this power to heal this blind person. Were they 2 or 3? So he said, 2. He's still lying. The more you lie, you're basically stamped on your forehead and you become a liar. And it becomes fun to lie. So they keep on walking. So they hunt a gazelle, or a deer. They barbecue it, they eat it. There's nothing left of it. Just like, bones. So Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam turns to Allah Azza wa Jalla and he says, Ya Allah, bring this back to life. So the gazelle gets up, the flesh covers the bone and it gets up and it's alive again. Bi-idhnillah, by the will of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So he looks at this man and he says, As'aluka billadhi ahya hadha al-ghazal. I ask you by the one who put life back in this gazelle. Were there 2 or 3 loaves of bread? So he says, 2. Because now he's a certified liar. So then they keep on walking. So Sayyidina Isa then, he grabbed 3 pieces of 3 rocks. And then he called upon Allah Azza wa Jal, and these 3 pieces of rocks, they change into gold. So he looks at so Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam calls upon Allah Azza wa Jal, and they turn into gold. So he looks at this liar and he says, I ask you by the one that changed these into gold. Now, before that, he asked him, the liar asked Isa alayhi salam, he said, who's this? Who are these 3 pieces for? 3 pieces of gold. So Isa alayhi salam, he said, one for me, one for you, and the 3rd one is for the person who ate the 3rd loaf of bread. So the man says, Ya Rasulullah, I was so hungry. I just ate it. I was so hungry. It was me. I've been lying throughout. So Sayyidina Isa, then he says, take them all. Take all 3 pieces. And I would not befriend a liar. Leave me alone. So this man, very happy now. He's not thinking about the lies. He's not thinking about what he has done. He's very happy that he has 3 pieces of gold with him. So now he's dreaming. He's dreaming, what am I going to do with the gold? I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. All of the dreams, that he had in his life were about to come to true. So, as he was thinking and dreaming, 3 soldiers passed by. Are you guys with me? Is this too long? So 3 soldiers passed by. So they see an unarmed person with 3 big pieces of gold. So what do you think they would do? They killed him. And then they split the gold among the 3 of them. So how many pieces of gold per person? 1. Who said 1? Red hijab. Yeah, that was not easy. Right. So the 3 soldiers now, each one of them has a piece of gold. So they said, we're hungry, let's send someone to get us some food. So one of them go to the marketplace to buy some food, and 2 stay behind. The 2 behind, they talk to each other, and they say, if we kill this dude when he comes back, then each one of us will have 1.5. So we'll be richer. So when he gets back, we're going to kill him. And they had that plan. The dude who went to bring the food, Adam, do I rhyme? Dude who went to bring the food. He thought to himself, he said, if I poison the food, then the 2 of them will die. And I'll get all 3 rocks. Cool? Sounds like a plan. So he comes back. As soon as he comes back, they chop his head off. They kill him. So he's dead. So they're happy now. They're richer. Let's have dinner. So they eat the food and they die. Now after a short while, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he passes by the liar dead, the 3 people, the 3 soldiers dead, and the 3 pieces of gold, all next to each other. So he looked at the scene and he said, هكذا الدنيا فاعبروها ولا تعمروها. He said, this is life. This is life. We run after it. We try our best, and we have goals and dreams and all that. فاعبروها. It is too short. It is too short. Do as much good as you can. Don't get busy, building and saving and I mean in a materialistic way. We should get busy building youth centers and masajid and schools and institutions and so on. But we shouldn't get busy just collecting food and money and just living for ourselves. So that was what I wanted to start quickly with, the story of Isa alayhi salam. Brothers and sisters, moving... So moving is a sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal, right? So everything around us is moving. Everything is moving. Now, as you're sitting down, you're moving. Something within you is moving. Your blood, your cells, the earth is moving. It's a sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal. So by us, inshallah, moving to Tulsa we're just doing the sunnah, basically. And we're following the sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal. So it is the sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's going to happen. Now, Brother Abdul Rauf was saying that, inshallah, Ya Rabb, that you will come back to your hometown, Dallas. Now, my kids were born in Dallas. We just passed by the Dallas medical city, and I was telling Muhammad today, this is where you were born. So all my kids are Texans, but I know in no time they're going to become Oklahomans, because I know the Oklahoma Thunder is going to, win this year, inshallah. But anyway, so he said, Dallas, our hometown. If any of you remember, we said once here, I asked you guys a question and then we reached out to a conclusion. So let me ask you this. Where is home? When I ask you, Ya Nuha, when I ask you, where is home, what do you say? Usually you'd say, Yemen. Shahid, where is home? Egypt. Tasneem, where is home? Ethiopia, right? But Sami has the right answer. So where is home?
Jannah.
It is Jannah, right? Because...
Oh yeah, my dollar.
You can give it to anyone. So, remember, our parents actually come from Jannah. Adam and Eve, they come from Jannah. Adam and Hawa, they come from Jannah. So ultimately, we want to go home. We want to go home. We want to go home. Jannah. 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 So yes, Dallas is home, but ultimately our home is in Jannah. And inshallah, we have a space, a spot that is waiting for us. It just requires work, hard work. So, real quick, I promised Nabil I would take 15 minutes, but I don't know how long we've been talking. But since you're still looking at me, you're not bored. So, I will talk very quickly about Dallas and about Tulsa. Very quickly. And again, because I had too many thoughts and emotions about this, I put it in writing. So, someone was telling me today that it's going to be too hard to fill in the, how do you say it in English?
It's going to be too hard to fill in your shoes.
And I'm taking all my shoes with me. You don't need to fill any shoes, any space, anything. I'm taking my own shoes with me. But what he meant is that there's so much to be done. There's so much to be done in Dallas, and especially with the youth. And after all, Allah Azza wa Jal takes care of His deen, of the masajid, of the youth center, because this is the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. So whether Marwan leaves or stays, whether Amma Tahir leaves or stays, whether Amma Abdul Rauf leaves or stays, البيت رب يحميه. Allah Azza wa Jal takes care of His deen. Allah Azza wa Jal will replace us with people who are better than us. Allah will take care of His deen. So that's how I was thinking about this. That yes, I will miss Dallas, but Allah Azza wa Jal will and has already replaced me with better people that are doing, mashallah, wonderful job. But then the question that came to mind is, what's so special about Dallas? So, as people come and visit Dallas, Abdullah, they ask, what's there in Dallas? What's there to see? Especially people coming from California. They come, we have the beach, we have this, we have that. What is here in Dallas? So, what's in Dallas? I give you $1 if you come up with one thing. Shahid. What's in Dallas? Abdul Rahman, here you go. So there's the youth center, right? No, but usually what's in Dallas? We ask people, they say, there's the movies, there's the mall, and restaurants. Right? No, these are the attractions in Dallas. The mall, restaurants, and the movies. This is what's there for people to do. However, brothers and sisters, there are good people in Dallas. Are you guys still with me? Yeah. I can finish, inshallah, right here. If I could keep going. What's so special about Dallas is people. It is people that make a place special or not. It is people that smile at you. Wallahi, I had a brother that once came to the youth center. He said, something is special about this place. You guys genuinely smile and welcome people. And I hope we continue this sunnah. The space is very limited, by the way, and we cannot compete with the YMCA, but it is the attitude, it is the smile, it is the brotherhood, sisterhood that we have among each other. So it is people that make a difference. A quick story. You know, when Rasul ﷺ came to Medina, he paired up the Muhajirin with the Ansar. Agree? Agree? Mu'akhar. So after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba started to go out. Go out to do what? Build houses, buy this and that. They started to walk out and move out and travel out to spread Islam. Right? So one of the pairs was still in Medina. The other one was in Iraq. So he sent him a message. He said, don't you miss coming back to Medina? Don't you miss coming back to Medina? Are you with me? He said, don't you miss coming back to Medina? So he responded, and this is beautiful. He said, إِنَّمَا يُقَدِّسُ الْأَرْضَ أَهْلُهَا. He said, Medina was special because of the people that were in Medina. But the people of Medina are now everywhere else. They're all spreading Islam all over the place. So why would I come back? It is people that make a place special. So it is people here that make Dallas special. That makes the youth center special. That makes the school special. It is people. It's not buildings. It's never buildings. It's never, the gym or whatever. It is people. It is the attitude, the way that we treat one another. To speak very quickly about Tulsa. How many of you heard the speech of Steve Jobs, the graduation, the commencement speech in Stanford? So very quickly, very inspiring. He said, who doesn't know Steve Jobs? It's okay. So he's not a prophet. He's not mentioned in the Quran. He's the ex, I guess, CEO of Apple, whose father is Syrian Muslim and put him for adoption. Anyways, he regretted that badly afterwards. Anyways, so Steve Jobs, he said, in brief, he said that he was in either MIT or Harvard, I'm not sure. One of these two. Harvard? Tamam. In Harvard, he said, I did not enjoy any of the classes that I have attended. He was, I think, in some computer classes. He said, I did not enjoy any of these classes. So he dropped out. When he dropped out, he said, I had the time to drop in art classes. So he started to attend art classes, and that's where his passion was. So then, whatever he learned in the computer world, he put it to use in the arts world. And then he came up with Macintosh as a company. So he founded the company Macintosh, Apple/Macintosh at that time. And then the company grew up so big, it became $1 billion company. And then it had a board. And then after a while, they decided to fire him. He's the founder of the company, so they fired him. He felt so depressed and so down that how can you fire me from a company that I have created, I have founded? But then he decided to look at things positively. So he said, I can start a fresh start. I can start new now. So he created his own company with some new, fresh blood and brains. And then they came up with the first animated movie. And that movie was? Toy Story. The name of the company that put together Toy Story was? Pixar. So he's the founder of Pixar. So after a few years, Apple decides to buy Pixar for a few $1 billion. And then he came back to the board of Apple and became again the chairman and the CEO of Apple. Then he concludes and he says, when I looked back at what had happened, when I looked back, I was able to connect the dots. That's why I did that. That's why that happened. That's why this and that. That's why. So he said, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. But looking at where you are today and the near future, you cannot. It's very hard for us as humans, we're limited, to understand what's happening and why it's happening. We just trust in Allah Azza wa Jalla that it's happening for a good reason. So inshallah, in few months or years, looking back, you can always say, oh, that's why I was laid off from work. That's why this happened. That's why that happened, and so on. There's one thing I learned from Brother Shukri. May Allah Azza wa Jal set him free much sooner than anyone dreams. I mean, along with the Holy Land fight. He taught me once, he said, and he taught many people, by the way, that it is sufficient for you to touch the life of one person. That's all you need to go to Jannah. You can touch more lives, but if you're able to touch the life of one person, then maybe that's your key to Jannah. Maybe, just maybe, something is waiting for us in Tulsa to utilize to go to Jannah. Allahu A'lam. That's just a positive way that we're trying to look at what's going on. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu said that al-mu'minu kal-matar, aynama halla nafa'. That a mu'min or a mu'mina is supposed to be like a cloud or like a cloud full of rain. So wherever you move, you would rain. And you would bring khair wherever you go. Wherever you go. Whether you end up in Amman, whether you end up in Tulsa, whether you end up in Alaska, wherever you go, you should be like the rain. That the land is expecting, rain, and so that it can flourish. So, to wrap up, and usually I say to wrap up and finally in conclusion, usually it takes me 4 or 5, things to say before I wrap up. So to wrap up, just wanted to say Jazakumullahu khairan for everyone. Jazakumullahu khairan for allowing us the opportunity to serve. Jazakumullahu khairan for letting the kids do tawaf on the stage. It's very exciting. It helps Ibrahim and Ibrahim. So Jazakumullahu khairan for everyone. I'm almost done, inshallah. So Jazakumullahu khairan, especially those who have supported us, going through the layoff and then the uncertainty and so on. I'm not going to name, names. You know yourself. You stood by us. Your real friends are the ones that are with you when you're in need, when you're down, not when you're up and celebrating. So Jazakumullahu khairan for everything that you have done. In conclusion, the hadith is very clear, subhanallah. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Ahbib man shi't, fa innaka mufariqu. Ahbib man shi't, fa innaka mufariqu." Love whatever you want, whoever you want, as much as you want. Eventually, you're going to be separated. So you can love me to death.
Are you planning to run for election or something?
You can love someone to death. You can love something, an athlete, a singer, cologne. You can love something, it's going to come to an end. Because either that person will die, that person will go away, whatever. أحبب من شئت فإنك مفارقه. So, the only thing that is worth, giving our love and our passion to is Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's worth it. So love one another, love Allah Azza wa Jal as much as you can, as Brother Abdul Rauf said. Finally,
at the end.
no, finally. I have $1. I owe someone $1, صح? No, I owe someone $1.
Faiz.
Anyways, when a Rasul, yes, actually it's for Huda, right? Iman? Huda, one of you. So, finally, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before he closed his eyes, just before he closed his eyes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his very, 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 very last advice was the youth, one of the youth. His last advice was what? The youth. Your prophet, my prophet, the last thing he said, to summarize his whole life, the only thing that would make a big difference in your life, what did he say?
As-salah. As-salah.
Read Quran, no, close. Anyone, the youth? The
الصلاة.
youth?
You use no say.
Yes? Salah. You got it. So the last thing that Rasul ﷺ said is as-salah. The last thing that I would say. Welcome back. So I'm not going to say take care of your salah. That's Rasul ﷺ said that. But subhanAllah, I thought I would leave you with only one advice like Rasul ﷺ did. So my last advice is cleanliness. Just try to be clean. Wallahi, I'm out. Here's a credit card. No, I'm not. I lied. This is hidayah. أدعو لها بالهداية.
خذ يا رجل.
So, ايش يا ابراهيم? That's why I'm moving to Kelsey. So the last advice I wanted to share with you, Omar, welcome back. The last advice I wanted to share with you is cleanliness. And the reason why I'm saying this, because in the youth center, as we remind people that, be careful, be watchful, be considerate, and so on, if you build this habit of cleanliness, and cleanliness is from Iman, so I would like you to remember me as the Ammu who always said, pick up your trash, put your shoes on the shelf, clean after yourself, right, Hamad Bab? Right, so an-nadhafa, 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 wa ma malakat aymanukum. So basically, be clean, and you'll be surprised how that cleanliness, inshallah, would reflect on you. Am I done?
No.
Last word? Inshallah, I'm done, inshallah. It's been about 25 minutes. Last thing I wanted to say is keep my wife Hanan in your prayer. She's been sick yesterday and today, and we decided to push the move out a week because the whole family has the flu. And inshallah, if there is khair in Dallas, then inshallah we will be back. Jazakumullah khairan again. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.
Barakallah feek. Muhammad.
Takbir. Jazakallah khair, Brother Marwan.